Quinn.
Or Paterka.
I think they perform better. Just they have better chemistry. They move on the ice better. They pass better.
But it's adding
It's just
on
going
to,
into the whole
yeah,
Grand
it's
Prix.
adding on to the Drivers' Championship and the Constructors' Championship.
Good evening, sports fans. It has been a long, dreary, and hard summer, but we are back in the basement of Hendricks Hall for another episode of Sports Hour. I'm your host with significantly less hair than you last saw me, Ethan, and I'm happy to be joined by a Sports Hour first, if I'm not mistaken.
It is, yes.
Mr. Parker. And for our first segment of the new year, we're going to be talking about, of course, some NFL football. Diving right into our Week 2 slate. The best team on planet Earth played Thursday night at 8:15 with the Buffalo Bills doing battle against Miami in Hard Rock Stadium down there in Florida. And how'd that go for the Dolphins this week?
31-10. I mean, you got to be. I think they have a couple things to be scared of, really. I think. Before even Tua goes out with injury, he threw three interceptions.
Right.
I think you've got to be a little scared of that one. And you take that and then come in now Tua's injured. Where do you go with that?
Right, absolutely. Just to provide some context, Tua Tagovailoa had a really rough first half. 3 interceptions. He did throw for 1 score to Devon Achane out of the backfield, and that was pretty effective. But his finishing stat line, 17 for 25, 145 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 picks. One of them was taken back by a touchdown by Jamarcus Ingram to aid in the blowout. But the big storyline coming out of the game is that number 1, who just got a massive contract extension, went down with yet another concussion. He collided with Damar Hamlin in the red zone on they were driving down the field, third down, big. I think it was actually 4th and goal, wasn't it?
I think
was it 3rd or 4th?
It was 3rd or 4th. I don't remember
exactly. It was either
exactly
3rd and goal or 4th and goal.
It
was. It was either third down or 4th down. Needed a first, needed to make a play. Took off, dropped his shoulder into Damar Hamlin, ended up helmet to chest collision. And he didn't get back up. He was helped to the back helped to the locker room. Did not return to the game with a concussion. He's been placed on the IR for at least 4 weeks. But at what point? And a lot of analysts have been saying around the league, especially like former players and such. This is Tua's 3rd concussion in 2 seasons actually, because he was concussed twice last year.
Yeah.
This is Tua's 3rd concussion in 2 seasons. At what point do you reevaluate whether or not Tua Tagovailoa should still play football?
I think you've got to start reevaluating that now, honestly. You look at concussions and head injuries. Look at some of the stars in the league who have suffered from this. Antonio Brown is a perfect example. And just seeing that, it's like, you got to think about your family. He's, I think he's got a wife, right? Wife,
yes,
kids.
wife, presumably kids on the way.
But you got to think about you're a young man. You cannot afford to throw your entire life into a vegetable state if you get another concussion or 2. I mean,
right.
you really got to start thinking about your future.
Yeah, Tua is 26 years old. He did sign a massive contract extension this season. I think it was up to the tune of like 5 years at $270 million. So lots of money. I think it's not my decision to make. Obviously, it's not Parker's decision to make. It's not anybody except Tua and his doctor's decision to make. There's no plans for him to retire currently, but I think it is a situation definitely worth monitoring. On the health side, on the field side, Miami is in deep water.
I think they're in deep water not only with their play, but you look at Tua throwing 3 interceptions. They went up against a pretty good Buffalo defense, and they did not play that well at all. And even when Tua comes back, Tua may not be 100% when he first comes back. He's not going to be playing for the next 4 weeks. They got a lot to work on. And
I think primarily the Bills' defense looked legit.
They look like the defense that we've seen in years past.
Yes,
I think that
absolutely.
is the most
especially with
important thing.
how injured we were. You got to think no Terrell Bernard in this game. No starting safeties in this game. Matt Milano is still out with injury, and planning to probably miss most of the season. So a banged up Bills defense came into Miami and shut down arguably 2 top 10 receivers in the NFL.
Oh, for sure.
Tyreek Hill coming off a massive 130-yard game. Jalen Waddle coming off a 2-touchdown game. Both of them looked like complete phantoms out there. I think
what were their final stat lines for those 2 were just.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the final stat lines, We got the leading receiver was Devon Chan, but Tyreek Hill just 3 catches for 24 yards, and Jalen Waddle 4 catches for 41 yards.
And besides that running back, their top receiver was, who would have thought in 2024, Jonnu Smith.
Jonnu Smith, the tight end. So just completely, absolutely neutralizing the receivers after a massive week last week. So the Buffalo Bills trending upwards, and the Miami Dolphins trending very, very, very much downwards. Heading on to the next game, heading on to the Sunday slate, starting with the Saints and the Cowboys. Everyone thought, oh, New Orleans went into Carolina, beat up a really bad Carolina team. Stuff happens. Can't really say that anymore right now because New Orleans went into Dallas. No, was it in Dallas? Yeah.
Yes, it was
went
in
into,
Dallas,
Went into
yes.
Dallas and blew the socks off of the Dallas Cowboys, 44-19. Derek Carr, 243 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Alvin Kamara, 115 carries, 3 TDs on the ground. And not 115 carries, 20 carries, 115 yards, 3 TDs. I also think he caught a TD, if I'm not mistaken. No, he did. Yeah, he did. He caught. So 4 touchdowns total on the day for Alvin Kamara. Absolute massive game. Dallas looked bad.
Yeah, Dallas did not look like the team that we thought Dallas would be all season long. They came out flat, and they just obviously now, looking at New Orleans, they scored a touchdown their first 10 or 11 drives of the season. I mean, that's impressive. And just for Dallas to come out and look flat against a team that really many thought the New Orleans would be, used the term mid all season, but they've looked like, that real contender in Dallas. They look non-existent out there.
Yeah, I think this game definitely put New Orleans firmly on the map, on people's radars, because it's one of those statement wins that you make. Yeah, and to add to your point, the Cowboys looked quite flat. I mean, Dak Prescott threw 2 interceptions and a touchdown. The running game was absolutely non-existent. I mean, part of that is because they had to abandon it because they were down so many points so quickly.
Yeah.
But also no rusher over 30 yards rushing. Zeke Elliott, 2.7 yards a carry. Deuce Vaughn, 2.8 yards a carry. Not what you're looking for offensively. CeeDee Lamb had a pretty good game, 4 catches, 90 yards, and a touchdown. But besides that one shining light in the darkness for Dallas, back to the drawing board, and especially that defense. The defense looked horrible. Just huge chunk plays given up all the time. They couldn't stop a nosebleed on Sunday.
And yes, if it was Rashid Shaheed, again, another long touchdown on the season.
Rashid Shaheed, 2 touchdowns. Alvin Kamara, 4 touchdowns. So
I mean, Alvin Kamara, 20 carries for 115 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. That's solidifying himself possibly as being the running back 1 this year.
Maybe if he keeps playing the way he is, absolutely has a chance for that. Next game I want to take a look at on the Sunday slate was Tampa Bay at Detroit. I think this one shocked a lot of people too, less so because of the blowout nature, but just how close a game it was. I mean,
it was a very, very back and forth game the whole time, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
just
definitely.
Kind of trading blows back and forth, and
came down to the final play for sure.
That final play coming down and giving Tampa Bay the lead or the win. But on that though, Baker Mayfield, that resurrection he had in Tampa Bay last year, and now he's having that resurrection in Tampa Bay again this year. He's looking like the Baker Mayfield many people thought he was going to be coming out of college.
Right. I mean, the stat line doesn't really communicate just how good Baker, I think, played. He took the phrase, put the team on my back, quite literally. 5 carries for 34 yards and a touchdown, 185 yards through the air and a touchdown and an interception. Only threw the ball 19 times. It was a pretty good defensive game, to be honest with you. The Bucs and the Lions, especially the Lions on defense, were getting at Baker Mayfield. And by the Lions, I mean Aiden Hutchinson, who tallied 4.5, I think it was 4.5 or 3.5?
It was 4.5 or 5 sacks.
I think it was 4.5 sacks. 4.5 sacks in one game from Aiden Hutchinson, the defensive end for Detroit. To put that into perspective, only 2 Bills last season had more than 4.5 sacks on the year. So in one game, Aiden Hutchinson had more sacks than some players don't get in their careers, much less in in a season. Which is an absolute single-man wrecking crew out there dominating. Amon-Ra St. Brown played incredible, 11 catches, 119 yards, no touchdowns. Jared Goff, in my opinion, I think Jared Goff did outplay Baker Mayfield for most of the game. 34 completions on 55 attempts. He threw the ball 55 times. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
307 yards, but 2 very costly interceptions, one of which was like on the final play of the game, which was a Hail Mary. So like, what are you really going to do about that? But that one interception before that, really costly turnover, is what ended up giving the Buccaneers the lead. But yeah, Baker Mayfield, I don't think anyone saw this coming.
Yeah, for the Lions, I thought the Lions would come out of that game with the win. And
Absolutely. Though I think everyone did.
Tampa Bay, going to the NFC Championship for the Lions last year, I think a lot of people thought they'd be playing that game better. Would come out with the victory over, still a good Bucs team, but just not their day.
And I think it's week 2, right? So it's easy to overreact. And I don't want to say like the Lions are frauds or whatever. I don't know how much of this loss is the Lions being a bad team, and how much of it is the Buccaneers just being a lot better than people are going to give them credit for.
I think it's the Buccaneers are going to be a lot more dangerous than people think they're going to be this year.
Yeah, I think they're going to be the team, along with the Saints and the NFC South, to really like lock heads atop the division. Moving on to the next game, we have Indianapolis at Green Bay. Malik Willis played serviceably, and Anthony Richardson played very bad.
Yeah, for me to have Anthony Richardson on my fantasy team was not a fan of that one. I mean, 17 of 34 for 204 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions.
Yeah, 3 picks. He made a lot of noise last week. We had some really impressive throws, but I think the impressive throws sort of took attention away from the bad plays he was making. I think AR has like a tendency to like miss a lot of easy throws, and also like besides those 2 long throws he had last week, Anthony Richardson had like 7 other completions. So like, yeah, he can make really big plays, but also he's sort of like a jellyfish out there,
Yeah.
just kind of floating into his own rhythm and stuff, and not really putting it together and doing the easy stuff. He reminds me of like a rookie Josh Allen.
He does, but on the other side of the ball, Josh Jacobs looked like an elephant running through that Green Bay defense.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, we have ran through all the time on this segment, so we're going to head to a quick break, and we will come back with a new analyst, but still on football. Don't go anywhere.
When you think of the local lowdown, what do you think of?
Well, when I think of the local lowdown, it's the live music that we have played in the studio.
It's got to be the laughs we shared. The memorable moments during the whole thing. Oh my God, so fun.
The local lowdown for me is the people behind the scenes, the amazing team that we have making the show.
Oh, it's gotta be exploring all sorts of genres and music I've never heard before.
Oh, easy. Going out to shows and talking to artists and getting the latest news on what they have planned for the future.
It's about these artists, man. Giving them a platform to showcase what they've worked so hard on and show their music to the community. It's all about supporting the local scene of music to keep it running for years to come. And of course, the band merch. You can't forget about the merch.
No time, just sign on the line at the post office for selective service.
Hey guys, if you're about to turn 18, you gotta register with Selective Service. It's simple. Just go down to the post office, fill out a card, and turn it in. That's all there is to it. There's no draft now. You're just adding your name to Selective Service's list in case there's a national emergency.
So if you're 18 now, Selective Service, you gotta get down.
Register with Selective Service. It's quick, it's easy, and it's the law.
Takes no time, just sign on the line at the post office for Selective Service.
Welcome back to you at home, and also to the Brock Papke, the Brock Papke Experience, host of the Sit Down with Brock Papke. Check that out on what day of the week?
Thursdays, but it will be out in like October. Somewhere around there.
Stay tuned for some more Sit Down with Brock Papke season 3 coming to your television screens. Season 4 coming to your television screens any day now on Thursday nights.
We so back.
We so back.
We so back.
And who is not so back are the Carolina Panthers. And Bryce Young.
Bryce Young. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Bryce Young.
Just real bad stuff.
Bryce, I'm going to talk to you real quick. So I got a demonstration real quick. So let's.
Professor Brock brought the whiteboard out.
Yeah, PhD by the way. So right here is a terrible drawing of a football, and I think, Bryce, that you don't know what football is because you never had a touchdown before. So just want to give you a demonstration. This is a football, and there's an end zone, and you can use that just to get 7 points. But what do you get? You get a little field goal out of that, just because you are a terrible quarterback. So that's my little tangent out there. But I just want to.
That's what they teach you in PhD classes, guys.
That's what they do.
The Los Angeles Chargers, to provide context to Brock's incredible demonstration, the Los Angeles Chargers beat the brakes off the Carolina Panthers.
They did.
26-3. So bad that the #1 overall pick last year, quarterback Bryce Young, has been benched in Carolina. He will not be starting week 3. They're giving it over to the ancient, archaic, geriatric even, Red Rifle, Andy Dalton, who I didn't even know is still alive, to be honest with you, much less still in the league. But he's going to be taking the wheels over there. And I think that there's nothing worse Carolina could have done than give up on their first overall pick that they traded for. Keep in mind, they traded for him. They traded up from 2 to 1, gave CJ, they traded a first round pick next year to move up to 1 to take Bryce Young. And he is benched. Daniel Jones, for comparison, Daniel Jones has played 54 games for the New York Giants. Bryce Young has played, week 3 would have been his 19th start, or his 20th start, I think.
What is he doing?
For the Panthers.
What is he doing?
Already gave up on him.
Yes. It's just insanity, man. Like, they already gave it up on him just because the organization of the Panthers are going downhill as we speak.
Yeah,
it's
real
been
bad.
going downhill ever since like Cam Newton left, but it's
And
going
I don't
further.
know what Andy Dalton is going to do differently than Bryce Young did.
Yeah.
Bryce Young, 18 for 26, 84 yards, interceptions.
Yes.
Horrible stat line.
Terrible.
But also, his supporting cast isn't great. I mean, the best receiver is Deontay Johnson, Adam Thielen there, he's like 35. Tommy Tremble was a second round pick tight end that's looked not great. Defense is all right, I guess. It's not going to win you any games. And a mediocre running back in Chuba Hubbard. And the offensive line that is awful. His offensive line is terrible. Andy Dalton might snap his leg next week.
Yes.
Because of how old he is and those bones. He might have osteoporosis.
Probably.
That's enough on the Panthers. That's a big tangent. Panthers are terrible.
Yes.
Worst team in the league. They're trying to sim to the end of the year. The Chargers, though, finally have some hope.
They do.
Behind that guy, Jay Herbo.
Yeah, Mr. Herbo, my man, you are doing fantastic out there. Congrats on everything you're doing, and keep it up because you have been destroying the Panthers as well. So.
Yep, for sure. Definitely a great look.
Yes.
And Herbert has been the guy that a lot of people on social media, a lot of analysts will be like, oh, if only he had this, if only he had this, if only he had this, he'd be the best quarterback in the NFL.
He's been having that.
This year, he's finally got it all. There's no more excuses. He's got the coach. He's got the O-line. He's got the running back. He's got a defense behind him. No more excuses. Justin Herbert, it's time to prove
that you
are the person that everyone on Twitter says you are.
Yes.
Who is not the guy that everyone on Twitter says he is Trevor Lawrence, who in his last 10 starts has looked trash.
What are you doing, Trevi, man? What are you doing? Right behind those blonde locks of yours, what are you thinking?
They named the stadium after him for this game. They renamed the stadium. It's the Everbank Stadium in Jacksonville. They called it the Trevor Bank Stadium for this game, and he repaid that honor by going 14 for 30, scoring no touchdowns, and throwing for 220 yards.
200.
After he looked quite poor last week, Jags fall to 0-2. I don't think it's the end of the world. I think Trevor Lawrence came, like, obviously he's shown flashes before, no doubt. But I do think if you're losing to Cleveland, you should start. Don't even get me started on Cleveland, by the way.
No.
Please don't get me started on Cleveland.
We're redacting that for now because that.
But
yeah, that is a
if you're losing to
terrible
Cleveland, it might be time to start reassessing. They play the Red Hot Buffalo Bills next week, Monday, which we always lose. For the record, we always lose the trap game every season in the Jacksonville Jaguars. So if we lose, I'm not going to be surprised. But I digress.
Yes. If we lose, then okay, it's like a tradition at this point. But like what the I almost said the Panthers, the Jaguars have been doing as of late is just I really hope that we kick their butts next week.
Yeah. Jags looking to get some revenge, looking to play angry. They come to Buffalo next week, and we'll take a look at that next time on Sports Hour. But moving on into the Vegas-Baltimore game, huge upset, big upset. Gardner Minshew mania, running wild in Baltimore. 26-23, they scrape out a win against the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson not looking as dominant as he might have in years past. Reigning MVP, just 45 yards on the ground, 247 yards through the air.
And an interception.
Interception, a big, pretty costly interception too. It gave Minshew the ball back with some time to go score. Vegas wins 26-23. Baltimore falls to 0-2. How is it too late is it too early to hit the panic button? What do you think?
It's week 2. Well, I'll start by saying that. And like with the Ravens right now, I think they just need to find something that's been clicking for like the past 2 years.
Right.
And I don't think they've been doing that for the past week. I think during training camp, I think they should have had something, but with their
Well, it's
performance.
important to note that what's been clicking for the past 2 years in Baltimore isn't in Baltimore anymore.
Yes.
You lost J.K. Dobbins to the Chargers.
Yes.
You lost Mark Ingram to retirement. Yes. Some of your offensive linemen have moved on to new places. You lost left tackle Ronnie Stanley. Is it Ronnie Stanley? I think it's Ronnie Stanley.
Yeah.
Probably Ronnie Stanley to the Chiefs. So you're a lot of those pieces aren't there anymore. Mark Andrews has obviously taken a step back. So Derrick Henry, looked good in this game, 84 yards and a touchdown.
Yep.
Zay Flowers, 91 yards and a touchdown. So the pieces are in place, but it's just like, and what's been like the narrative for the Ravens for the past couple of years has been the inability to just like kind of put it together. They fought at 0-2. This one they should have won, to be honest with you. If they're the team everyone thinks they have to be, then they probably should have won this one.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they don't.
It was a close game, but
it was a close game. They put it tight, but these are the games you got to win. And historically, the Ravens haven't won these kinds of games.
Yes.
So will be interesting to see how they bounce back in week 3. And also interesting to see how the Los Angeles Rams bounce back in week 3 as they dropped to 0-2, and the Arizona Cardinals continue what looks to be a really strong offense.
I'm really happy for the Cardinals right now because they've been showing what they need to be showing for years now. And this blowout alone was just got a smile on my face because I'm trying to remember what was the stat line for each quarter, but it was just tremendous from what I remember.
Cardinals. They took the lead early. They jumped up to early 14-0 lead, and they just kept kept adding to it. 14 points in the first, 10 in the second, 10 in the third, 7 in the fourth. I thought that the Cardinals offense that looked as good as it did against the Bills last week. I thought that was more of less than the Cardinals than the Bills defense looking bad and the Cardinals offense looking really, really good. This is a really strong offense too.
Yes.
I mean, excuse me, Kyler Murray threw 3 touchdowns and had only 4 incompletions. So he threw 1 more incompletion than he did touchdowns.
Yes.
2 of which went to rookie sensation Marvin Harrison Jr. 4 catches, 130 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He looked much better than he did in week 1.
Yes, he has been looking really great. I'm really proud of him from what I saw, and I hope for we continue this momentum going on to week 3.
Absolutely. I'm sure that is the and also like the hire Jonathan Gannon, which was a whole offensive guru.
Yes.
And he's kind of been putting his money where his mouth is by proving that. And now the most boring game in the history of football, the Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Denver Broncos 13-6. Pittsburgh goes to 2-0. Denver goes to 0-2. Justin Fields is undefeated in the land of the Steel.
Yeah, it's really tiring. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's boring. This game was boring.
Yeah.
Bo Nix is trash. Everyone knew Bo Nix is trash. How he went in the first round is beyond me.
Yes.
How you're a team with a 13th overall selection and you're like, you know who I'm going to take? A 25-year-old quarterback from Oregon who hasn't won anything his entire college career and has looked mediocre at best against tough teams.
Yeah.
He continued to look mediocre at best. 20 for 35, 246 yards, 2 picks. Both of them really bad interceptions too. Like. Just crossbody throws or just trying to force him to a window that's not there. Just did not look great. And Fields, on the other hand, didn't look great either, but he doesn't really need to look great. His defense is really strong again this year. 117 yards, a touchdown. Pretty boring, to say the least.
Yeah.
Game finishes 13-6. Steelers beat the Broncos. And then the Kansas City Chiefs get bailed out again.
I'm already sick and tired of them, man. Like, it's getting over with Mahomes just, like, trying his best, and, like, he gets bailed out at the last second.
Yeah.
It's just...
Mahomes looked awful. 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks.
It's annoying.
And, more of the same. More of the same in Kansas City. And unfortunately, more of the same here on Sports Hour, as our segment has sadly come to an end. Just give you a live update on the Jets pass game real quick. New England leads that one 7-0. Jets with that one 7-0. And we'll be continuing giving you the updates throughout the night. Thank you so much for coming on, Brock. Stay right where you are. Don't change the channel.
This one's for the real ballers and shot callers, the Sisterhood of Women in Tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
Every day,
millions of people are connecting.
And even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
and banding together,
we should still make an effort.
To get to know each other.
On a deeper level. Father.
Cosplayer.
Mentor.
Actor.
It's time we take a step forward.
It's time we take a step forward.
Come together.
And discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
How prepared is your family if a hurricane shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a blizzard? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes. Make a plan today.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Oh my God. Sorry, my stage manager just scared me to death. Welcome back, fans, and Jennifer Polito. Her real name isn't Jennifer. I found that out like a couple months after meeting her. Her name is just Jenna. Weird. Well, just Jenna, what are we gonna talk about today?
Today, we are going to talk about the Olympics, which I know is...
It's old news, but allow us to catch up.
Okay, this only happens every 4 years.
So true.
If we didn't even get a chance to recap a little bit of it...
Very true. Like if we didn't cover Paris, we wouldn't cover the Olympics Well, in our time here at college. Oh. So, speaking of Paris, where would you like to start, Jenna?
Where would I like to start? I think I want to start just like talking about like a brief overview and everything. So we're going to talk about the medal counts. The USA, of course, came out on top.
Best country in the world, easy.
The fourth consecutive year in a row, we have top with medals. We had 40 gold. That was tied with China, but China only had 91. We also had 44 silver medals and 42 bronze. And something I actually learned that I really didn't know is that, sorry. Yeah, I didn't know, but apparently some events like judo and everything, they give out 2 bronze medals. So that's why in some countries the bronze medal total is higher. But yeah.
Really? They give out 2 bronze medals in judo? Like,
I know.
Just because like they need more people?
I don't even know what it is,
honestly. There's like no way to break the tie
like,
for third. That's got to be what it is. There's no way to break
it's
the tie
got to
for
be
third.
like no ties, but I don't know.
Weird.
Moving on though.
We don't really care about bronzes here in America.
we don't really care about
We
that.
only win gold.
It's more gold.
Yep.
But I think we should talk, one bronze medal we should be talking about is Steven Nedorazic. He is the pommel horse guy, if you don't know that name.
He was so clutch.
He was so good. So basically, this is the only event he participated in. He didn't make the team in the 2020 Olympics, and then he made the team. He waited for like 2 hours until his event, absolutely crushed it, and got a bronze medal, which is the first time in like, I don't even know how many years that the U.S. men's gymnastic team has actually won a medal.
Yeah,
So
like
that's
like
pretty
to
sick.
kind of paint the picture, if you guys weren't like following the Olympics during the time. This guy, Steven Nedorazic, he just kind of sat on the sidelines with his glasses on, like reading a novel for like 2 hours, and then like it was the pommel horse guy. It was pommel horse time, and he's like, this guy is like the pommel horse dude. He takes his glasses off like Clark Kent, becomes Superman, has a monster routine, and just and he secures bronze for the squad. I think like his was a final event of the medley, correct?
Yes, it was the
So it was
total
like
final.
it was like this or nothing, and he locked in for sure, and was this routine was cool. If you haven't seen it, definitely take a look on YouTube.
And I mean,
after
now
Sports
he
Hour,
is
of
like,
course.
now he's a huge public figure. He's been on Jimmy Fallon where he showed us he can complete a Rubik's Cube in like 10 seconds. And he's on Dancing with the Stars now. So, I mean, he's actually pretty good, showing he's not just good at pommel horse.
You know, like I got out of bed this morning, so like that's like almost as impressive as that guy.
I'd actually argue that that's more impressive.
I didn't skip class. Like
Ethan Smith, Clark Kent.
So true. I locked in this morning. I want to talk about my GOAT, the female Olympic athlete, American Olympic athlete GOAT, Katie Ledecky. She's in a league of her own.
That was crazy. I mean, at one point during her event, I think it was the 800-meter freestyle, you literally couldn't even see any other competitors. It was just her and blank screen or blank pool. She was that fast.
It looked like she was swimming alone.
Yeah.
Like if you ever watch her swim, it's almost like watching like an octopus move through the water. She just like chews up so much distance, and it's not even like how fast she goes. It's the pace she's able to maintain. Because she's dominant in the 800 meter. She's won 4 consecutive Olympics. She's gold in 4 straight Olympics, she's the first woman in Olympic history to ever do that, win the same event 4 years in a row, 4 Olympics in a row. And she's like just able to do her speed for far longer than anybody else that would do her speed.
Yeah, and I mean, just going back to swimming, I mean, swimming historically has been a sport that U.S. kind of dominates in. I mean, we all know Michael Phelps. I think he has over 30 medals, and I think all of them are gold, too, in his entire Olympic career.
Yeah, Michael Phelps.
But I remember there was some news I heard, I think it was like an Australian swimmer. She was talking about how they hate the U.S. and they hate when they come in with their chants and everything.
Oh, that was so dumb.
And then just for Katie Ledecky to go out and beat her makes it even better.
Oh, no. That Australian girl that said that about America didn't even qualify for the Olympics. She was, she goes into the interview with some, kangaroo, I guess, and was like, beating the Americans makes me feel so much better because they're so annoying and loud in the locker room playing their songs. You weren't even there, girl. You don't even know if the Americans are being annoying because she wasn't even at the Olympics.
She was literally filming that event in her home, probably eating like an everything bagel or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah,
and just
everything
talking
Babel off the
trash.
Barbie. Unbelievable,
Yeah.
that girl.
If
and
we're
then,
gonna talk about another Australian, though, I think we got to bring up breakdancing. I mean, so this was the first time in the Olympics that breakdancing was a sport.
but also the last time. that
Yes,
breakdancing
also
would be a
the
sport
last.
at the
They
Olympics.
decided not to do it again for good reason.
Ray Gun.
Especially that she was an Australian breakdancer, which I don't even know what she did, like some little
Okay.
like kangaroo hops, stuff like
her,
that. I mean,
her like whole routine bit was inspired by like her Australian heritage, right? That makes sense because she's Australian. And then she like tried to incorporate like Aboriginal dance movements into her routine, but it wasn't tastefully done, in my opinion. I mean, I'm not a breakdancing expert, and clearly she's a good breakdancer. She's ranked currently #1 in the world, like internationally. She's the #1 ranked breakdancer.
who knows how that happened? Honestly,
Maybe
after
her
seeing
other
that.
routines are like phenomenal, but at the Olympics she did not, in my opinion, do herself justice, much less the sport of breakdancing justice.
Yeah, I mean,
But it's not gonna happen again because the Olympics canned it.
but you know what is gonna be in the Olympics? Flag football.
Oh, if America doesn't win every single medal in flag football, it's GG.
It's gonna be like Justin
sell the
Jefferson.
country. Did you see the flag football team though?
No,
So
I
the,
didn't.
So the captain of the flag football
Uh-huh.
of the Americans, like of our national men's flag football team, said, "I don't," because like everyone along yourself thinks that like, oh, just a bunch of NFL players will come play flag football, duh, which should happen. That my opinion is that should be what happens. But the flag football quarterback said it's unfair to assume that Patrick Mahomes is a better flag football player than me.
I think that is true. I mean,
He's got a good point because
Yeah, there-
Patrick Mahomes doesn't play flag football.
there are a lot of differences between flag football and football, which sounds redundant, I know, but also
It's not like a 1-to-1 conversion. But
Yeah.
also Tyreek Hill in flag football. Like maybe not the quarterback, but I think definitely the receivers and the running backs
that would go kind of crazy.
should definitely
Yeah.
transition over. Seeing like Justin Jefferson score 4 touchdowns and 400 yards on like some random dude from like New Zealand will be
And
really funny.
So flag football, that's going to be in the 2028 Summer Olympics, which are actually going to be right in the USA again in LA. Towards the closing ceremony for the Paris Olympics, they had a whole thing about like passing the torch and everything.
That was so sick.
Yeah, Red Hot Chili Peppers played. I think Snoop Dogg is
Billie
going to be
Eilish
like
played,
the
Snoop
official
Dogg
ambassador.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
That's gonna be like the official ambassador for the Olympics, considering he like was on trial for murder at some point in his life.
I think especially for this Olympics, because he was still commentating on some, he had to bring Martha Stewart to the horseback riding events because he's scared of horses.
That's so cute.
But they had their little like jockey outfits and everything.
Yeah, and also he sat with Noah Lyles, his mom,
Mm-hmm.
during the track events, which we haven't even talked about track events. America disappointed at the track events. I have to be honest with you. Sha'Carri Richardson did carry us in the women's 4x100 meter relay. She lost her individual event. Noah Lyles lost his individual. Well, he won the 200 meter, right? Or the 100 meter?
One of those.
I think
I'm not sure
I think he won gold in the 200 meter. Got sick with COVID in the 100 meter, so he wasn't his best self. I think he won bronze in that, and then he dropped out of the Olympics. So we were expecting to like, clean the table at track and field. Not what happened, but still great showing from us there. And also, I mean, the Rock, one of the GOATs, one of the like most famous Olympians for the Americans team is Simone Biles.
Yes, Simone Biles, she absolutely wiped the floor, no pun intended, with the women's gymnastics. She won 4 gold medals, especially in the all-around gymnastics. And that is historic, and that marks, I think, I don't know, it's some historic event, but that makes her total 11.
Historic comeback, I think.
Yeah, 11 medals, especially after hearing all that news about, her routine. I think she just broke down and just kind of like left the routine, but that was a few years ago. And then to come back and just completely beat all of the competition. I mean, there's never a time when I've doubted Simone Biles or
Right.
really the entire U.S. women's gymnastics team. I mean, especially like Jordan Childs, although it is unfortunate, I believe she deserved her bronze medal.
She got robbed.
But yeah, so.
Yeah, and I never doubt that whenever Jenna Polito comes on a segment, it'll be an incredible one, and that stands the test of time to this day. That is unfortunately all the time we have for Jenna, but don't go anywhere because we got one more segment for you, and we got Lily Howard coming on to talk some NLL lacrosse. Don't go anywhere, guys.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
We've been down there. You gotta do the same. Post office. All you do is sign. So don't get nervous. Sign your name. For selective service. It takes no time. Just sign on the line at the post office. For selective service.
Hey guys, if you're about to turn 18, you've got to register with Selective Service. It's simple. Just go down to the post office, fill out a card, and turn it in. That's all there is to it. There's no draft now. You're just adding your name to Selective Service's list in case there's a national emergency.
So if you're 18 now, selective service, you gotta get down to the post office.
Register with Selective Service. It's quick, it's easy, and it's the law.
Takes no time, just sign on the line at the post office. Selective service.
I was ready this time. I was ready. I was paying more attention. Alex didn't scare me this time.
Good job.
Thank you so much, Lily Howard. Pleasure
so
as always
back.
to see your great face
I'm so
on Sports
excited.
Hour. We're so back. And we have some great news for the Buffalo Bandits faithful.
They are back-to-back champs. I have it on my t-shirt.
2B, that's 2 in a row.
2 in a row.
2.
We're
Count
getting
'em.
another
2.
banner going right up next to the 2023 one.
Lily Howard's going to be there.
I'm going to be there. My parents are going to be there. Jake and Trevor are going to be there. Jenna Polito's
Polito's
going to be there.
Snoop Dogg's going to be there.
Probably. Mark Stainhouse is going to be there.
Is he actually?
No. Probably not.
Probably not. He doesn't care.
That's fine.
Who cares?
Johnny T is going to be there. It's going
to be good stuff. Speaking of being there,
Oh.
what's going on here?
Well, I think that might be my. I think that might be me.
She looks awfully familiar.
I think that might be me. I think we have the same T-shirt. It's
Yeah,
kinda
you're
funny.
wearing the same thing in that picture, I think. Or this girl, this
Yeah.
stranger.
And she looks kind of familiar. I'm not really sure though.
Don't recognize her.
But like I recognize all these guys because we got Chase and Tehoka and Dane and Chris.
Tehoka
and
Nanta
Josh.
Coke, what a goat! All right, that's enough. That's enough photo browsing.
I just had
you
to
look great
show
in those
them.
photos, by the
Thank
way.
you
So
so
does Jenna
much.
Polito, our beloved EP.
We had to show them. We love them so much.
Where are these things?
This was the one with Dane and Josh was at like the Selena Law Firm, and then the one of me in the middle was right outside of the Seneca Casino.
Oh.
So yeah,
Fascinating
lots of photo
stuff.
ops.
Shall we talk about the actual game?
I think we should.
At this point, let's talk about the actual series.
I just gotta say, I feel really bad for these Albany fans. They must have been like eating some lemons because that was a sour way to end their season. Like sour, because the Bandits swept them again. They thought that they were going to come out here in week 1 of the regular season, and then they were like, oh, we're going to beat the Bandits. Yeah, newsflash. You've got nothing on Banditland.
So
MVP
true.
Arena, saddest excuse. I'm sorry, this is really mean.
Looked like they were playing in a gym.
Saddest? Okay, Ethan, we were at the game. Me and my mom and my 2 brothers, we were at the game. They started the game out by explaining the rules on the Jumbotron.
What are we doing?
They were like, this is how to win a face-off.
This was the best team in the league.
Yeah.
This team won the most games, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, They were supposedly supposed to be like those guys.
They were them.
Yeah, and they absolutely were not.
No, they really weren't. And Banditland pulled up.
The
they
barn was
represented
rocking.
The Sea of Orange.
Key Bank Center. Did we explain the rules on Jumbotron?
No. No, because, believe it or not, Bandits fans actually know what's going on.
Oh, because we know what's happening. Wow.
Go figure.
Wow.
It was, game one was really scary. Because, we were going in enemy territory. The stupid Firewolves, I hate them. Sorry. The ratio of Bandits fans was, Bandits to Albany fans was absolutely insane. Just sea of orange. We had so many Bandits fans. It was absolutely insane. Face-offs in this game were looking a little iffy. It was, but
when are Buffalo face-offs not looking a little iffy?
Exactly. Oh, Max Adler was at the game, our former face-off king, and he was just sitting in the stands.
Oh, he bought a ticket.
My guy, can you please just
can you
slap
suit
on
up?
a jersey? Let's go. So
we don't even need you to play a full shift. Just win the face-off.
Exactly. So that was a little scary to watch that happening, especially with Max Adler literally right there. But obviously we ended up winning, so it was all okay. We got a comfortable lead in the fourth quarter. After that, we started having a little bit of fun. The Albany fans hated us.
Oh, absolutely.
They hated us. And
if only there was more of them.
Yeah,
at home.
No, literally.
In the finals.
When I tell you, the game was sectioned off, the highest place you could go was the 100s. It's only a 100 and a 200 level arena, but
Whereas in Banditland, 100 to 300.
Right, completely completely sold out.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, so we ended up sending those Albany fans home on their own turf, which was super, super fun. Bandits won 12-8. So,
right, 12-8 in game one
lead.
in the enemy's barn.
Yeah.
And I want to point out that our analysis of the season, the way it would go, was genius, by the way.
I agree.
To pat ourselves on the back, because we called this. We were like, Bandits, because at the middle of the season they weren't looking hot. They were looking rough.
We're losing to the Warriors. Are you kidding?
The Warriors. We're losing to the
Panther City Lacrosse Club.
That's not even a place. Panther City, point that out on the map.
Oh, we've got a new team coming, the Ottawa Black Bears. So look out for them.
The league's expanding?
Yeah.
I got the money for that?
Ottawa Black Bears. I think they're from Ottawa. Someone will probably correct me in the chat because it's going. The chat is going.
Bumping. I'm glad to hear that.
So
shout out to the Howard family.
I think that's right. But so yeah, new team.
New team.
Just thought of that.
New team alert. New team to lose to the Bandits in the playoffs. Can't wait. I just think we really hit the nail on the head. We were the hammer that drove our points home because we were we're gonna lose to bad teams. We're gonna and then the playoffs gonna hit, and I'm gonna turn into the team that we know we can be. Right. We're gonna beat everyone, and then we did. So I wanted to lock that in.
We had to acknowledge the fact that we're just the best.
And then game two. I watched game two live. I wasn't there, but I watched it on a TV series. It looked like Albany just had completely lost morale.
They really
looked like
did.
a broken team out there.
It was electric start to finish. The guys looked absolutely incredible. Josh Byrne, not only was he the NLL, the entire league finals MVP, but he also became the Bandits League MVP. And I'm just gonna say, Josh Byrne burned through those Firewolves. And personally, Ethan, I know you're gonna get this one. I haven't seen firebending that great since Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh my God.
I haven't.
He was locked in. My favorite player is Token Nanticoke, but I gotta give it to Josh Byrne because Josh Byrne.
Great.
Just the way he commanded the floor was what I think was most impressive to me.
Yeah.
It was when he had the ball, he drew, it was the epicenter of all the Bandits' offense and everybody's on the field. And I think that's his distribution was incredible. His shots were incredible. He was in the right place at the right time all the time.
That hidden ball trick with Chase Fraser.
Oh my God.
Hello? I'm sitting there. I'm looking. I'm like, where's the ball? And it's in. And then everyone's up and dancing. And I'm like, okay. He scored, but where was the ball?
Yeah, and I think in a best of three, if you're the higher seed and you have a better record and you have game one at home, to lose game one at home and then have to go into the opponent's team with the chance of getting sent home and losing the whole series, it's gotta be the most that game one becomes so important that you win that because it's gonna be 18 times as hard, especially coming into a place like Buffalo, to come out and win another game in the KeyBank Center in Banditland with the Howard screaming. It's just it seemed like a monumental task, and I think Albany did not come correct.
No, Not even close. I don't think that they really knew what they were in for because they were out there, and I remember they did this stupid thing where the wolf mascot, he got like a chicken wing and he was like drenching it in ranch. And I'm like, dude, if you think that that's going to scare Buffalo, because first of all, we know that it's blue cheese. But if that's all you got, man, like, bring it on.
Sidebar. If you are from the upstate New York area, not upstate New York, you're from the western New York area, and you like especially Buffalo and like the surrounding suburbs, and you prefer ranch with chicken wings or pizza, it's Sun's Pizza as well, you're wrong.
You're wrong.
You're wrong.
That's
It's
just not the
like,
Buffalo
I mean,
way.
like, you stick into like Victor, Rochester area,
But like Buffalo.
they got like the whole garbage plate thing going
Right.
on. But if you're like
Kinda
from
good, low-key.
Buffalo, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
But
Like self-evaluate.
But like scoreboard. So like if that's all you got and you're just like ranch on a chicken wing, haha funny, no, because we just beat you.
Yeah. You know what's funnier? Winning by 4 goals.
Yeah. And then winning by
You know, maybe
3 goals.
Maybe if the Firewolves paid attention to like the pre-game like rules,
Right.
they might have played better.
Yeah, and they have sloppy cheerleaders. That's really mean. I'm just like going ham on these people, but like the Bandettes have everything. Like they're a cheerleader. Ugh,
Yeah,
not
we have the edge in cheerleaders.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck beating that.
Yeah. So there
the
you
Bandettes.
go.
I mean, we have cheerleaders.
Yeah, the Bandettes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
they eat.
I gotta get to a Bandits game.
They
this year, I
are
think.
fantastic.
I figured I had to go to a Bandits game.
You definitely have to go to a Bandits game.
We gotta lock this in. Enough patting ourselves on the back with the Bandits being the best team in the world.
Right, which they are.
Their title defense begins Friday, November 29th, the start of the new season. And you're right, the Ottawa Black Bears play the Toronto Rock in a Canadian clash north of the border.
Oh, God.
7 p.m. on Friday, November 29th. And then
That should be
the Bandits
interesting.
don't play week 1?
They play, I believe, week 2. Their first game is the 7th of December. I'm
Yeah.
not sure against who.
We played the Rochester Nighthawks.
Oh, wow. And then the home
in-
opener is against
Yeah, the home
Nighthawks,
opener.
too.
The home opener is against the Nighthawks. You sure?
Yeah, on the 28th. And then the 7th.
Right, because we go to the Canadian Tyson to play the Black Bears
Right.
next week. So first Bandits game, save the date, Saturday, December 7th, 7 p.m. in Rochester. Bandits Hawks should be a good one. I
Should be
think
a
the
good
Hawks
one.
should get blown out.
Oh,
No
I
offense
really
to
hope so.
Rochesterians, but Come
Go
on.
Bandits.
Go Bandits. It's going to be a sea of orange there. I don't know how long we're going to travel to Ottawa. Ottawa's not close.
don't know.
Ottawa's like 4 hours away.
But like, since it's like the first time the Bandits could be, like the first time they're playing them.
Yeah, I
A
mean,
decent amount might show
Buffalonians
up.
travel insanely well.
Right.
Like,
They were at
insanely
San
well.
Diego. Like, I saw people on Twitter posting pictures of like them with the Bandits at like the Buffalo airport, and they were like, "We just boarded our flight to San Diego with the
My
Bandits."
brother was in Disney World the day we played the Dolphins, that Thursday of last week,
Oh my
and he saw more Bills fans than he saw Miami
That's
fans.
insane.
Yeah.
Like that's
So, like,
crazy.
We're everywhere. I don't know if the Bandits got the sauce to get to Ottawa, but
We'll see.
Will you be going to the Ottawa game?
You know, I don't know. I got to check my calendar. That's like
Yeah.
right around finals.
Right around finals week.
If it wasn't around finals, and if I wasn't broke, I would be in Ottawa.
I would be in Ottawa.
I would 100%.
And then we're back in the KeyBank Center, December 28th, 7:30 p.m. Bandits Nighthawks again. That's the second time we play them in 3 weeks. but-
Banner raising night.
Banner raising night, Josh Byrne night, Chase Frazier night.
He hasn't been re-signed yet. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about Chase Frazier not being
I-
re-signed. Scary
Chris
stuff.
Cloutier just got re-signed.
Well, Frazier's probably going to want a lot of money. No offense.
Well, he should, because he's him.
He's that guy.
He's great. And I don't know. I don't know what they're waiting
Scary
for.
things.
I don't know what
Scary
they're waiting
things.
for. Sue Howard's going to lose her mind if we
Imagine
don't
if
re-sign
Chase
Chase Frazier.
Imagine if Chase Frazier leaves.
We're not losing Brad McCulley and Chase Frazier
That'd be like
in the
losing
same
the Hammer.
calendar year. Yeah, no, literally.
Chase the Hammer Frazier.
Literally.
Anyways, that's all we got. Thank you so much for coming on, Lily.
Thanks for having me, guys.
It was a pleasure. We will be back here next week, same time, same place, Basement Hendricks Hall, and we will see you there. Thanks so much for
there.
watching. Hope you have a great night. Thanks for taking time to watch Sports Hour. Have a lovely night, everyone.
Go Buffalo!
See ya.